box? Who's in the box? What's in the box?
All right, how's everybody doing? So I am Bob. Welcome to Total Toy Recon's Bob Basement blog. Because of the state of the world, I decided that I'm going to go through my basement. As you can see, I have numerous tubs here, and go through what I have. This is my way of sorting. Also, I'm getting ready for the purge, as I call it. I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff. What I want to keep, what I want to get rid of, what's broken, what I can just throw away. As you can see here, we had the Kenner Alien Resurrection Alien Warrior that we found in yesterday's tub, along with a cheap 99-cent dinosaur. Both awesome. These were in yesterday's tub. I love this guy. This guy I've actually given as a housewarming party to numerous people. He's easy to find at like Dollar Tree, Five Below. It's a great dinosaur toy for kids. Just thought I'd have those out. As you can see, some of the things, if you tuned in yesterday, we had a couple things have been added to the backdrop here. We'll put the dinosaur over here with the computer. But just thought that we would dive into this next tub. I have this, I'm going to hold it up. Big tub. Not, I'd say, as full as yesterday, but definitely a lot heavier, and I'm not sure why, but we will find out. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. In case you're wondering why yesterday's video and today's video, if you're watching this years from now, I'm wearing green because it's that time of year. So let's get into it. As you can see behind me, we have numerous boxes of things that have definitely come out of storage. You know, will we get to all of this other stuff? I have no idea. So we'll see how many of these we do. Response yesterday was pretty good. And for me, personally, I know that I'm thrilled to actually find some of this stuff. I had to sort everything real early this morning, put it into bags, and then we'll get into that. So, and I did promise you a Batman story, the animated series. So we'll get into that today. So, how am I doing this? So what am I doing is I have these resealable bags that I'm using to put stuff in, and I like doing this with toys. I've done it in the past. There goes the alien. I've done it in the past with a few things, and basically it's kind of a nice, it keeps everything together. It's in a nice cushion. If it gets rained on, it gets wet or whatever, there's a flood, it's in a bag. I do have smaller bags that I put weapons, smaller figures, and pieces of their, you know, build-a-figure pieces, pumpkin bombs, all this kind of stuff that we covered yesterday. And I have 100 of these. These are great. These are a little bit smaller. This is 3.5 inch by 2. I recommend the 5 inch because that's better for G.I. Joe's, Star Wars figures. They're slightly bigger. Some figures are just the way they are, or the bulkiness of the figures. Like certain figures will never fit in these bags. So let's get into it. First ship out of the gun came out of this box right here. All right, so I got a question already, but hold on, I'll get to the question. First ship out of the box. This came from Hasbro. This was for the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. This is the Milano. Great little ship, but I wish they would have had something that you could actually, you know, like pose it. I just love the design. I have both rockets are still in here on either side. In fact, I don't want to shoot it, but still works. Now I got to find that because it's somewhere in this box. But there was, I believe there was, this popped open, and then there was a miniature Star-Lord inside. Why they went this route, I don't know. I guess they figured kids would like this, but the wings are cool, and you can put 2 more guys in there. So I don't think I got anybody else because it came in this sample box from Hasbro, and I love keeping these. I gave some to my nephews. I wish I wouldn't have because they were so cool, but I thought, you wrap a present in this, it looks pretty neat. So we have the Milano from the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Does this pop? There's a button here, but it doesn't do much. So, cool ship. Got nice little stickers on here and stuff. We'll move that. Kind of hard to bag that up, but it's a neat toy. Now, I promised you... Oh, I got a question. Jason Nelson wants to know what's the Krusty behind me. So, this Krusty the Clown came from Spencer's Gifts, of all things. And it was actually made by Playmates in 2001, and I was given this as a like a Halloween gift, I think. And he actually has the string. I'd be amazed if he still worked. I usually pull all my batteries out of my toys. He does have the button, and it's from the Treehouse of Terror episode. So he came in the box. It's long since demolished, and he does have the switch that says "Good and Evil" on the back. So this kind of terrifies my wife, so I just keep Krusty where I can. where I'm allowed to. So that's why Krusty's out. But Krusty ain't going anywhere. That's a toy forever. So, I promised you a Batman story yesterday. Now, yesterday's tub was loaded with Batman the Animated Series figures from Kenner. As you notice, I did not put any stickers on this bad boy. And very similar to the recent Playmates Batmobile that we just reviewed on our YouTube page. And it's on our Instagram too. If you pull the back out, wow. If you pull the back out, you get this little, like, flight ship. So that's pretty cool. Now, what's the story behind this one? So, this is by Kenner. This is a really cool toy. I was at that age when the figures for this cartoon started coming out that I wasn't really buying toys anymore. I was heavily into comic books. But I love the cartoon series. I always made it my must-watch before I went out. You know, for the evening or to practice, or make sure I taped them. I taped a whole bunch of them at the time. Yes, taped them. So I was out with a friend, and we were out yard sailing, and I came across the Batmobile. Now, the Batmobile looked like that. It had the seat in the back. It had the little ejector thing, the whole bit. This was sitting at a yard sale. So I grabbed it, picked it up, and I went over to the guy whose house it was, and I said, "Hey, do you wouldn't happen to have the canopy to the Batmobile?" And he looked at me, and he looked at me, and then he said, "Yep, I know exactly where it is." He went inside, gave me the canopy, and obviously it was the right one. God, I hope I don't break it telling this story. Obviously it was the right one, complete. So I was like, awesome, this is great. It does have these little things where you can knock guys down with, too, on the side. Awesome. And so I go, how much? And then it's always a dangerous thing when you say how much. It wasn't a big box of toys. And he goes, 50 cents. And my buddy who was with me at the time, he smiles, makes no noise, does a 360 and walks, well, 180 degrees, and walks in the opposite direction. So I give the man his 50 cents. I walk to the end of the curb, and I meet up with him, and he just said, "You would have given him $20, wouldn't you?" And I said, "Yes, I would have." So you never know. It's always good to ask and be prepared, because I was ready to give the man $20 for this toy that was out of date. It was from 1993. It was somewhere in the 2000s. So God knows how long this toy had been sitting in this man's house. So a little shy. I can't believe we did 2 vehicles already. That's really cool. Here we go. Oddball thing. How does this end up in a toy box? A lot of this tub and the previous tub was stuff that was on display in my office. As I explained yesterday, when I moved to LA, everything got folded into some tubs, and I haven't seen it since. So it's been in and out, different houses, storage bins. Came across this in a yard sale, and yes, this is an original 1977-78 thermos from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I guess I need a blue lid. It smells okay inside. I mean, I'm guessing it would still work, but I figured this is usually the harder part to find. So if I ever found a good Close Encounters lunchbox, I would definitely buy it, because I know it wouldn't have the thermos or the the juice thing inside. So I just need a little blue lid. All good. So love that. I have a Ewok one. God knows if it's in this tub. It could be. Ooh, here we go. Haven't seen Marv in a while, and Marv. Now, this is I believe by McFarlane. We may have to do some glue. So this is the original Marv by Frank Miller and, yep, McFarlane Toys. So, God, he feels like he has a battery in him, but he does not, because the screw's off. So hopefully the screw's in there too. So this was the original Sin City Marv toy. Now, when it was just a comic book and not the big movie thing that it became, the phenomenon, I might have to put a little glue on this. Yeah, it definitely ripped off. So a little glue right there on Marv's helmet. This toy was in the top 10 like banned toys of the year in 2000. And I ran out to every comic book store. I was working in LA at the time. Ran out to every comic book store I could find at the time and asked them if they had it. And I finally came across one, and I bought it up because I was afraid they were going to ban it. He sat on my desk for years. And actually, you know what? I wish I had batteries to put in them, but when you pull the switch down, his eyes light up red, and he says, "Is that all you got, pansy?" So this is a great toy by McFarlane. Definitely going to fix this, and this is going to go back on my desk because, you know, it's awesome. So, haven't seen Marvin forever. And I am making like a, there's things behind me you can't see. So I do have video games in one tub. I now have a tub of horror figures and a tub of Masters of the Universe, original and current. So I am building up to another collection. You know, we're going to put Marv over here. And I really need to fix him. And there's somebody else I had to fix from yesterday. So, this was a long time labor of love for me. This is by Marvel and from 1988. So there weren't really any good Spider-Man figures to my specifications of the day. And I ended up getting this PVC figure of Spidey posed. And this was my first endeavor of diving into something like this. And you do have to like get his legs just a certain way, and he'll stand and he'll pose. And I think I repainted this thing 5 times before I actually got it to where I wanted it to be. And once I got the color red right, like I didn't have to paint it. I did have to paint it onto here, but then this was red. I had to match this red with this. It was the webs, and how do you color those webs with a paintbrush? And I'm not very good at that. So what I did was I ended up getting a fine tip Sharpie and just highlight it. And there's a couple mistakes here and there. I'm not going to point those out. But this was, I can't believe that all of his fingers are intact and he has survived. And as you saw yesterday, or you go back and watch yesterday's blog, we had a Mego Spider-Man that was missing a hand. So that was my original Spider-Man. And I would say in 1988? In 1988, this was my next Spider-Man. So this was very happy to have this. I had a lot of Spider-Mans, a lot. And I got rid of them all recently, and I do miss them, but I don't miss moving them. I had every issue from 178 to I was somewhere around 350, and then I didn't have 350, and then I started again at like 351, and then like went to like 400. 350 was the one that I just didn't want to pay extra money for. So, but I got rid of them all. So, and yes, that included the Venom issue, the 300. So, very nice. Nice to see him again. Haven't seen him in forever. What else we got in here? All right, we got some bag stuff. Let's do some of this loose stuff. God only knows where this came from, but this is the Slinky Dog, and he had candy in them. Push up here, so I guess he popped. Yep, the gum would pop out there. So I guess you twisted it or something, and you rolled it like this, and then the gum came out. God only knows. You didn't expect to see that. All right, we got some bag stuff here, so this is good. And it looks like some of these things, I'm gonna set the bag stuff to the side until we actually can move this away a little bit. Let's get some of the loose stuff out of here. So here is a robot Lilliput. You put a key in him and he whines. A little dusty, but very cool. Fun robot. Isn't that great? Love that. It's like a tin toy. Oh yeah, there's some sad stuff in here. Some stuff that probably didn't make it. Here is a Kevin Smith Silent Bob action figure. There he is. Like that. He's already bagged. As I said earlier, I was getting to the point, I guess it was like 2012 when I started bagging stuff up. So, keep the bags close by. Here is a Captain Kirk. Looks like from Star Trek 2. He does have his phaser. But again, that's why I bag them. So if you bag them with their weapons and stuff, you're not going to lose them. So, found Khan yesterday, so that's nice. Interesting. So this, and I haven't seen him yet, this is the chapel that you're supposed to hang up on the wall. And this is a big hunk of plastic. This is by Toy Biz, and this actually came with the X2 Nightcrawler. So you hang this on the wall, and then you could dangle Nightcrawler from it in different angles. That's kind of a neat. You don't see many, not doing many displays like that. Diamond Select Toys, they do a lot of the displays with their figures, but this is kind of neat. You could use this with Daredevil too. Almost better to use it with Daredevil. Hold on to that. All right, this guy's taking, let's go to this guy. So here is he's so big, takes up 2 bags. This is a Diamond Select Captain Cold, and I still have his glasses, even though they're on his face, they're right here, and there's his gun. Diamond Select had some awesome figures for its day, and it just seemed like nobody was ever buying them, or the comic book stores just kept them in stock that I was going to. And I ended up buying him because I loved him so much. I had him, just the look of him. And I had him and then Green Lantern. So, cool figure. Everything's intact, so you can't be upset. Here we go. So, I love, and I've written about this for numerous times. I love big monster toys. And here is it Toy Biz or is it Playmates? NLP, Marvel Entertainment Incorporated. So I'm guessing maybe it's Toy Biz. This is the Lord of the Rings, like warrior troll. I do have the one bag I pulled out and I said we'll deal with it later is Lord of the Rings toys. So used to decorate this guy for Christmas. I used to put a Santa hat on him and things. Just a fantastic giant sculpt of a toy. Really, really cool. Great hands. I mean, a lot of the Lord of the Rings toys, and that's probably what we're going to get into here in a bit, they're just fantastic. I'd say their points of articulation are almost too many, though, at times, and they kind of got a little flimsy, but this guy, I mean, head, arms, legs, I don't even think his waist, nope, his waist moves. So we've got, and the hands individually move. So we've got 1, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 points of articulation on him. I mean, even the arms. I mean, 10 points of articulation. Pretty good. Great figure. I wish I had more of these. And a lot of the Lord of the Rings toys were like, you bought them and then you kept them, or you found out about them much later, and the price just went through the roof because they didn't make as many, and they didn't really stick around too long. So these must have gotten in there by mistake because these are relatively new. I mean, I'd be surprised if they work. It says try me. These are the, wow. So these must have been thrown in there when I moved. But these are the little Iron Man gauntlets. I may use these to go out and buy groceries. My son, he's not at that age yet. He's going to love these. Because by then, those guys will be legendary heroes of the cinema. Can't believe that still works. And it was in the on position. Definitely should probably pull those batteries out. So those are cool. Forgot I even had those. I don't think this is on either. You should always take your batteries out. And I'll be impressed. This is a Tron disc. Yeah. Not really working. So I'm guessing I took the batteries out. But it does glow. So the wife and I are big fans of Tron Legacy, but I would say more so the music and the visual look than the actual story. The story's okay. But to have a Tron disc, I think I took this to the movies with me. She got this for me for my birthday. Fantastic. Love this thing. Probably put that somewhere. But you get to a point where, how much stuff can you have out? Like, how much can be on display? And there used to be there may be in here, there used to be a little thing that would hold this up. And it's better from this angle because this is like the glow paint that they have. But, yeah, see if it still lights up. Definitely going to hold on to that. So, big sci-fi fan. Can't go wrong with a statue of Gort. I got this at Urban Outfitters for a whopping $4.99. And so the first time I saw it was at the Sci-Fi Museum in Seattle, and I really wish I would have gotten it then. And then it turned up at the Urban Outfitters for $4.99. Doesn't move. I didn't really have any articulation. It's heavy. It was originally $20, so I got it for $4.99. Fantastic toy, a lot of fun, and I'm a big fan of that. And then he's at the right size for like a 375 action figure, so you can kind of put Gort in there with like next to a GI Joe or something. I did some great photography with him from a distance. Oh, and by the way, woo, look at that. That's pretty cool. But then again, I get to a point. I love the packaging too. I get to a point where how many things can you have on display, and when does it become too much? So I little rhyme or reason of which way things are going here in my thing. That's part of the Tron thing. See if we can find the rest of it. So I have a Ben Affleck Daredevil wind-up toy. Yeah. I was a big fan of this movie, and I've seen both cuts, and yes, it does have its flaws. But I had to get this when I found it because it was just too good. Plus, I had an awesome Daredevil release, like little mini figure bust that I got at a video store when I got the movie. They gave it to me. It fell off my desk one day and broke. I was so upset because it was really, really cool. It wasn't something you were going to find everywhere. So I definitely, when I saw this, I had to pick it up to do a replacement. Wind-up toys. Hardly ever break. Look at that. I've had this thing for 15 years now. Now, 11 years. Got this Toy Tokyo in the village. Hopefully they don't walk away. They may walk away. But see what I mean? Pretty cool, right? Yeah, that works. All right. 3D glasses from the Battle of the Five Armies. I don't know why. There they are. And then, oh, we got a tub within a tub. We missed somehow one of the wings from this fell off. Didn't even notice. Where did it go? So the wing goes here. And again, how would you know this unless... So that means I gotta find another wing. And when you can put a toy back together, it is really satisfying. Especially if you've been able to keep them all in the same tub. Alright, so here is... Already losing it. Now I know this does not look the greatest. So this is a Dr. Zaius. Not really sure where he came from. Trademark, 1998 Fox. He was made by Hasbro, of all things. So here's a Dr. Zaius 12-inch doll. He's a little beat, and as you can see, he's got a nasty stain here on his arm and here. I believe Dr. Zaius was the victim of a leaky roof, and he was right under it at this place that I stayed in. That I stayed at. So, yeah, he still has his cane, which is the only thing he came with. I do have a Sideshow collectible of Cornelius. He'd probably look really good with him. But maybe I can clean up the arm. Maybe I can't. Maybe it's not really that big of a deal. But his hair is definitely sticky, so I'm going to have to give him a bath and see if I can clean him up with some Clorox wipes, but I'm not going to waste Clorox wipes right now. So, put Zaius over here. And as you know, yesterday I kept talking about Happy Meal toys. Happy Meal Buzz Lightyear. Couldn't buy the big Buzz Lightyear when he came out because he was nowhere to be found because it was such a rush on him. And I ended up getting this one. Happy Meal toys, they're the best. His arms really don't move too much, but to infinity and beyond. What more do you want? There it is. Happy Meal toys. Back in the day were a lot better. Ooh, so I think this is a Korg. Now, as you obviously I have a Dr. Zaius, but I'm big, and I said I had a Cornelius, so that automatically says that I am a fan of Planet of the Apes. I ended up I bought this when the movie came out, and I wish I would have bought Thade and his horse. But this is Michael Clark Duncan's character from the Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. And yes, I do have his helmet. So, A couple of years ago, I was at Recon, and they had one of the red armored soldiers, and I was like, I should go back. I went back 10 minutes later to the same table, gone. I was so upset with myself because I would have had somebody for this guy to argue. But this is so hard to read sometimes. This is Hasbro. Hasbro, you know, I guess that's probably why the Zayas was also Hasbro. The time frame is right. It's a solid figure. I mean, this is a big figure. Not something you're going to find everywhere. I'm going to put this with the horror toys, because that way I'll be able to find him when I need him for something. He feels a little sticky for some reason. I'm not sure why. But that's the problem with some of these, the plastic that they use. They don't, I don't know, do you think that they sit in meetings at Hasbro and say, will this plastic last another 35 years? Exposed to sunlight, not exposed to sunlight. And here's another another wing piece. God, who would have thought that I would have had to rebuild this whole thing? I still got to put the rocket in. I know where the rocket went. Okay. So, here's another Lord of the Rings toy. I've got more here. We'll get into those, and that's how we'll wrap this up. Here's Schmeagol. Now, this got bent, but there was a tree branch here. But here's, well, I'd say it's Gollum. It's not Schmeagol. He's not smiling. So we do have Gollum. But it's a great base, and I'm trying to figure out... oh, it must have talked. He did talk. There's a battery thing in the bottom. That's probably dead. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to... yeah. Schmeagol. So, another Lord of the Rings guy. Ooh, so here's Captain Archer. Now I believe this was Art Asylum. It's from 2002. Something Pan Pick, but I'm pretty sure that these were Art Asylum figures. The suit here is really good. It actually has some give to it, and it looks just like Dr. Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap. But the pants here are rubber, so it really gives it that great kind of like jumpsuit feel. Not the only Captain Archer that's in this box. So here's the rest of the Tron Legacy stuff. And as I said, I knew I had the rest of the pieces. But it's all figuring out how this thing... This was my problem with it from the beginning. It's like you have to get it to pose to just be perfectly, and it'll hold it like this. So that can actually be on display. So that's kind of cool. I like that. As I said, a nice present for my wife one year for Christmas. I do have... Ooh! So here is Mr. Orange with sunglasses from Reservoir Dogs. I'm going to repackage him a little bit better. And yesterday we did have... I could have sworn we talked about Mr. Pink. We definitely had Mr. Pink in there yesterday, so that was neat. So I think I'm pretty sure those were the only two guys of those figures that I got. And I'm not sure if it actually says on their feet where they're from. Mezco. These were Mezco. Awesome. So this is Wilson from Castaway, and I worked at a video store that if you bought Castaway, they actually gave you one of these. So naturally I took one home. After I bought it, and I believe it's an antenna topper, so you can find your way home. Get it? Pretty good. Yeah, I'd send this to Tom right now if I could. All right, we're down here, getting down here to the end. This is the only wrestling figure that I own, and this was... This was a Titantron Live Jakks Pacific Kane. So Kane was the one guy when I used to play some of the WWF games that I would be. So that was the only guy, the Undertaker's brother. Solid figure. Still in great shape, actually. I mean, he was just always posed. So, it's the only wrestling figure that I own. I can't believe I actually own a wrestling figure. And then... Oh, I can't remember his name, but he's from one of the Toy Story short films that they released on ABC. Very cool, awesome weapon. I forget, it's like a Dominus Rex or something like that. Imperious Rex or something. Great figure. Really cool. Such a great episode, little mini episode that they had. And as I promised, that was not my only Captain Archer. So they made space suits of a lot of these figures, and the helmets came off. I mean, look at the intricate details of this figure in every angle. And then not only that, but it comes with the space helmet, very 2001-ish, and then you plug in these tubes to the back, and there's actually 3 places for the tubes to go. Now, granted, over time, it's harder and harder for them to stay in. It's probably just better if you glued it, but I mean, that's a phenomenal figure. Oddly enough, there are no peg holes in his feet. And here we go. We're just about to get into the Lord of the Rings, so let's tease it a little bit. Here is the Ring Wraith. His sword is a little, it's a little bent. I'll probably squeeze this between 2 heavy-duty books, and it'll probably go back in a couple of days. A hairdryer will work, but the Ring Wraith's cape is phenomenal. And then I doubt that this still works. I'm going to take the batteries out. But there's a button here, makes the legs move. This is, I mean, you're not going to find a horse better than this. This was a great toy that Toy Biz put out. And if you did, there was something else if you pulled on something, his eyes lit up. I'm not really sure because I don't know if I ever pulled the battery out. So we're definitely going to have to do some battery work and see if that's in there. But he definitely needs a bath. This thing was on display for a long time, but he sits on there like nobody's business. And this was a great set. I got to do something with that sword though. Fix that. So I do have a Sleepy Hollow McFarlane Headless Horseman. Probably use this horse for that come Halloween. Not a lot of questions here. I got 7 viewers and no questions. So reveals my shirt a little bit more. We'll be able to see that for like a minute or two until it comes on my screen over here. We've got a slight delay. The classic, you find it at the shore, pirate. I think my grandfather gave me that. He was a sailor. Now, here is, and obviously I'm going to have to straighten out this staff, but these, oh man, these boots. This is Gandalf the White. Definitely going to have to work on Gandalf's staff. But, yeah, definitely going to have to flatten that out. There's Gandalf the White. Great figure. Lots of awesome points of articulation. Posability is through the roof. He's got to work on the staff. It almost looks like a snake now. So there was a second tub inside here, and I know what this is now. This is a lot of these items here were things that I used for photography. So I have a Picard. I'll hold it closer. He actually still talks.
Damage report. Engage.
There he is. Still works. The Nightcrawler that I was talking about. This was a phenomenal figure. Crazy points of articulation as you would want him to be. And you could hang him by his tail and have metal in it. Really, really awesome figure that Toy Biz did. Here's the Samuel Jackson. We found the poster yesterday in the other tub. And then here's the Samuel Jackson. You want to know the story about him, you got to watch the other episode. So this is Samuel Jackson from Shaft. The first Shaft. So here is, now he's in my horror collection, but here is assorted weapons to a Freddy that came from Mezco. It was Surgeon Freddy. So we got a pizza with him on it. We got a knife, his head, and then the cane that came to the Wolfman figure that Mezco also did. So I have that. Those are bagged up nice and neat. I'm not sure what this is to, so it may take me a second or two to realize it. Looks like we have a mini pizza alien. It was a keychain at one point. A friend of mine gave me these because he knew I like Star Wars, but these are the weird Mickeys that you paint. These are, what are they called? These are the Mike Sullivans. These are from 2010. So, yeah, I guess. Now we had talked about the DC Direct Green Lantern in our top 10 Green Lanterns, which is up on our Facebook page today and our website. And one of those was the Hard Hitting Heroes Green Lantern. Now I've got 2 Green Lanterns in here, as in the Power Lantern. I think this is to the Alex Ross DC Direct Alan Stewart, which we found yesterday. And then this was actually to the one that I'm holding in my hand. So I'll have to match those up, check some pictures. This was a heartbreaker for me. So I got this phenomenal Cylon figure when the series was on, and it was the retro Cylon, and I love this thing, and I did a review of it. It was a fantastic figure, and then it broke. The arm broke. So he's probably just gonna, I don't know, maybe I'll just demolish him or put him in a robot pile in the back or something. But this was a phenomenal figure by I don't even remember who. It came in a blister pack. So if you remember, just please comment or send me a message. And then here's an original Transformers poster. Is this a poster? No, it's one of those books that tells you all the Transformers that were coming out in the first wave. So this is original. So we got Decepticon Communicator, Decepticon Leader. It doesn't even say their names. It just says Decepticon Planes. It says their names small, but to the side. So we got mini cars, commanders, cassettes. Man, this stuff was, I love this stuff. And then I've got 3 of these bad boys in here, and I did use these with some pictures. These are original stat droids. See how they move? This was the first, oop, the rockets are shooting off. This was the first, the rubber bands, which I never took off, have rotted off. Wow, they have rotted off. This was the first episode 1 toy you could get next to Sending Away for Mace Windu. Oh, whenever you do that, it shoots a rocket. So that could be why. Okay, didn't know that. And I found Jazz's gun from Transformers. I do have Jazz somewhere. Last bag, we're going to wrap this up a little bit earlier than normal. Well, than normal than yesterday. Finish this up with our last little bit of Lord of the Rings figures. So now I have King Aragorn. The plastic feels weird, but it's very, I'm going to hold it up here. It's very layered. So you can see all the chainmail. He's got great points of articulation. He has the dagger back here. So he's going to need to be wrapped up. And then, I mean, look at this cape. Here's Legolas. He's got swords. He's got a bow. He's got arrows. He's got his 2 mini swords. I mean, this guy was in full pose and nothing had even happened yet. And the bow works. I mean, it's just, there's so much to this figure going on. I mean, this was a whole nother level. And I can't wait for the Diamond Select line to come out to see if they can top it. I'm sure they can. And then, oh, and then one of the arrows lost a tip. So one of the arrows is actually broken. And then the glow-in-the-dark king inside the mountain. Basically, you know, the skeleton zombie figure. I mean, this guy's got... Ugh, and here's more of that stuff that got off the roof that's on Zeus. But I mean, this guy's got a sword. He glows in the dark. He's got ropes that dangle. He's got feet. Ghost-like material. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. It's not because of the fire. There's a lot of dust. So that's it. A little shorter today than yesterday, but I've got a lot of organizing to do. And rebagging and matching some weapons up and then figuring out what I'm going to do with this. So I will be back tomorrow. I think I'm gonna focus on this one right here to my side. It'll be a little bit shorter, but those, I believe, there may be one more. There may be one more. Those were the 2 biggest mix match of different things. The toys from my desk, basically. Toys from my office. That were kind of mixed matched all together for whatever reason. Some things I did with photography. A lot of these I can remember of taking photographs with, or I needed for something for the toy site or toy column I used to write for Mania.com way back when, and so that's probably why I have them. But thank you for tuning in. This is Bob's Basement Blog. See what I did there with the Chapter 2, we'll call it Chapter 2. Thank you for tuning in. Please follow us on Instagram. We're doing our best to post during these times. A lot of funny things, a lot of memes, and some toys from our private collections. Just getting, the fun out there, keeping everything light. And please just follow us here. And then if you want to send this to somebody, you can send this direct link here. Or you can also follow us on YouTube. We have tons of reviews that are going to help you fill up your time. We just reviewed some other ships, some vehicles and things. We did a hovercraft review. It's a lot of fun. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you again tomorrow.